So you want to know how to plan your YouTube videos using Notion. So I'll walk you through my template and link to it in the description, but you don't need to be using my template. You can create your own workflows. This may just give you some ideas about how to structure things and some of the features in Notion that are really useful. Try and add chapters to this so you can jump around, because it might be a slightly longer video and you can find the bits that really interest you, or you can watch the whole thing, whichever suits you best. So let's jump on. So the first thing we'll go through is the different views in my hub. So we've got the publishing calendar and we've got the scheduling calendar. So those are just to show you different dates. The publishing calendar will be when your videos are due to publish. The scheduling one is, say you're batching content. For example, I'm filming this just before the Christmas holidays. That means that I can batch schedule, and so I may have a deadline for all my January videos before Christmas. So that's why there would be different dates. Okay, so let's go in and create an entry. If I just scroll to the end of the planner and tracker, this links me to the actual database that creates these two calendars. That's this YouTube planner and tracker. I have the calendar here, the publishing calendar and the scheduling calendar. And this content status is the one I tend to use the most. So I'm just going to pretend I'm creating a new idea and open this up to walk you through everything. So the first thing you would do is you would enter your publishing date. So let's say I'm working well ahead and I have a publishing date of the 11th of January. I would put my publishing date in here. My scheduling date would be, say I want to get this done before Christmas, I'll put the 22nd of December in there. I can change my status here, and I'm going to go into this one in a bit more detail just now. So I have this set out to suit my YouTube workflow, but you could always change this out to suit how you like to work. So I don't always go into all of these. Sometimes I do a couple of the steps in one go. But whenever I come up with a new idea, they would be in the status of idea. And then when I'm going to go forward with an idea or develop it further, I would move it to script. Then I have to film, to edit, to create thumbnail. And I actually often these days actually create my thumbnail before I even script after the idea. So I would move that up here. As you can see, you can just click and drag these around to suit you. To edit, so you can obviously change this around to suit your process and the order you like to do things. It's always advised to do your thumbnail first. I sometimes do, I sometimes don't. So then we have to script, to film, to edit, to upload to YouTube, and then I've got to schedule. So I tend to have these separate because often I'll upload a video once I've created it, but then I might need to go back and sort out description and tags and everything at a later point. So I have these as separate steps. Then once I've scheduled, I have it moved to set to auto-publish when it's ready to go live once a week. And then I have to promote, write descriptions in totally the wrong place. That's usually about here. Then I've got to promote, so that would be if I'm sharing my video in, say, a Facebook group or on Instagram or anything like that. I don't always promote my videos, but sometimes I do. And then I've got idea discarded. That's for any ideas that I've created that I don't want to get rid of the idea in case I want to come back to it later, but I'm not planning on doing it anytime soon. I might move it there. I've got archive as well for my older pieces of content, just so I can get back to them if I ever want to see them. So if you do want to ever change your status, when you're in one of your entries, you click on these 6 dots at the side here, and you can click Edit Property. I want to keep it a status, but I might want to change some of these options, so I can click on one and delete it, or I can add a new one by clicking the plus button, New Option, and that will just create a new piece in my process. I'll just delete that again. So that's status. Next up, we have content pillar. So a content pillar is basically a content category. So it's like, I like to talk about workflows, and I can split that into the categories of sales and marketing workflows, workflows to do with kind of my overall product strategy, workflows for delivering products, and then workflows for actually general top level CEO, like what am I going to do to meet my sales goals, reviewing how things are working. So I can split down my overall business topic or niche into subtopics, and that is what content pillars are essentially. So this is where you would put those in. People generally tend to have about 4 content pillars. You don't want to go too crazy with content pillars. And much the same as with the status, you click the 6 dots, edit property, and I've just written pillar 1. They always go around the wrong order. 2, 3, and 4, and you can just click into these and change out the text to what your pillars are. And then you would select which content pillar you are talking about. If you tend to talk about more than one piece of content in a video, you could always change this. This is currently single select. You could edit the property, change the type, and you could change it to multi-select. And that just means that you can then select more than one pillar piece of content at the same time. So it's up to you if you want to have it as single select or multi-select. Video purpose, this is like slightly different to content pillar. So content pillar is your category of the topic of what you're, or subcategory of what you're talking about. Your video purpose is why you're creating that piece of content. So I could have pre-filled these in, but I find that depending on what you're creating content for, these could be very different. So as a business, my main purposes would be to grow my audience, to sell a product or service, and another purpose might be just to nurture my existing audience. If you're more of a content creator who's doing affiliate marketing, then it's going to be to make affiliate sales. It's going to be to grow your audience and to nurture your audience. If you are more of a content creator who's just looking to grow for ad revenue, which I don't recommend, I always recommend you try other revenue streams as well, then you are going to have a bigger focus on your watch time and your audience growth. So, you decide on your own purposes, and again, you can change this out, edit property, and put your purposes in here. So to change the purposes, you click the 6 dots, you click edit property, you click on one of your purposes and change the text to, let's say, audience growth. And then you can select one once you've changed it. So once you've got your idea, you've decided on which content pillar or pillars you're focusing on for that video, you've decided what the purpose of that video is, then you can start fleshing out your actual idea. So I like to, if I'm targeting a keyword for showing up in search rather than showing up on the homepage for like sparking curiosity, then I would fill in what my target SEO phrase is here. So my target SEO phrase. So for this video, for example, my target SEO phrase is how to use Notion to plan YouTube videos. So I'd put that in there so I remember what I'm trying to target. Then you can put an overview of your content here. So say if you're going to need B-roll, just generally what your story is going to be, a brief overview in here. If you like to script your videos, you can put your script in here. I've just got this here as a reminder. I've got SEO target and intro. If you're targeting for SEO, then you want to put the body of the video, and then you need to remember to introduce a new related challenge and suggest another video at the end. This is to keep YouTube happy. So I've just got that in there as a reminder. You can change this out to suit any strategy or process that you're using. This is part of my YouTube template, so I will show you how to change that in a moment once we finish going through what's in here. Then video description, I'm actually going to change this up. I'm going to test out something new. A lot of YouTubers put a lot of affiliate links in their description. So I'm going to try out a new strategy in here, but you can decide what strategy you want to follow with your description and kind of have a templated piece that you use either to set reminders, like to introduce the video, or if you have links that you want featured in every single video, you can have preset up in here so that you don't need to fish it out every time you're creating a video. And then I've got some other bits at the end here. So I've got playlists here. So this is multi-select, so you can select all the applicable playlists. Let's say it's 3 and 1. And again, like with everything else, to change it, you go to change what the playlist categories are. You go click on the 6 dots, click edit property, and then you can click on them, change the text, delete them, by clicking delete, or add new ones by clicking the plus button. So then we've got some tick boxes. So this is just if you need to create any B-roll, you would tick this. And then if you created the B-roll, you would tick this. The same with thumbnails. I don't actually tend to use these. I just tend to use the content status. So I've got them in there if you want to use them. But I find this process just easier so I can see where all my videos are up to. And then I've got some places to attach any B-roll, any thumbnails, and a link to your final video on YouTube. What I would say is B-roll, obviously, because it's video, can take up a lot of space. So you might want to change this into a link to where you store your B-roll, whether that's on Notion or elsewhere, for example, Google Drive or somewhere else. So to do that, you would just change the property type. So I've just gone into the 6 dots again, edit property, and then on type, click that and search for URL. And then you can change that to be a link where you link to where all your B-roll is stored. And the same with thumbnail. You can do the same, or you can attach it. That's not going to take up as much space, so you could always attach it. So that's kind of the breakdown of how one individual video would be organized. And I'll just show you how to edit the template by clicking off there. So when you're in your YouTube Planner and Tracker, this blue button here, you can click the drop down arrow at the right hand side, and you can see the templates for the entries for this database. So I've got this YouTube video one, which is my default. So I can click on the 3 dots here and click edit to edit this template. So say you want a different script structure. This is where you would go in and you would edit this so that on all future videos it comes up with what you want your script structure to be. The same with video description. You can change this out here as well, and once you're done, as long as you're in editing, it saves automatically, and then your new template will be the same. So we'll add something down here. We'll add a GIF just to show you how this works. We'll just add this one. So that is now part of my template. So when I go out of it, if I delete this and create a new entry, open it, and I scroll down, it'll probably take a wee while to load, but you can see the GIF is now part of the template. So that's how you would edit them. So the other thing is you might want to add your own properties to this if you want to change out the process slightly. So you just do that by clicking this add property at the end. And you can pick from any of the property types. So we have checkboxes, URLs, email, formula, relation, roll-up. Relation is one I use a lot to link up all my planners together. So if you want to add your own property in, you would just click add property here and select the kind of property you want, and it will be added. So we'll just put phone in as an example, and you can see that's been added in here, and you can add phone number. So you can play around with it. And then if you want to add additional info at the end, I'll just delete this. So you can add anything you like down in this bottom section that's below. You can add comments in here, and then you can add anything you like. So I've done a / which helps you control what you want to add into Notion, because this is just like a page. So you can add text, headings, tables. You could link to bookmarks if you're researching a video and you've got bookmarks that are taking you to specific information for that video. You can do that down here, or you could template it. So let's add a bookmark. You would paste in the page. I'll just put my website, create bookmark. And as you can see, I've got a bookmark here to refer to when I'm creating my video. So you can collect anything to do with that video down here and just store it all together. So I would actually have the title I'm planning to use in the top here, and I would just, so once I've scripted this, I would move it to film, and when I'm batch filming, I would have a list of videos here that are all scripted and ready to go. Once I filmed them, I'd move them to edit, and then to write description, so on as I move along the process. So that's how I kind of manage the video creation process, and sometimes I can batch 2 or 3, and sometimes I might batch more. It just depends on how much time I have and how many videos I've scripted. So let's look at the tracker now, because this is a good kind of habit to get into, to just check on how you're doing with your YouTube growth, maybe, and see what videos are going down well with your audience. So I've got this in a gallery view just because it's easier to enter new information. So you would click on this, change out this for the month and year. So let's say November 2023. And then we would add in the number of subscribers we had at the end of October. And that number would go in here. So I'm going to make numbers up. So I'll say 200. And then the number of subscribers at the end of the current month. So let's say 350. And this will calculate your percentage growth in the month. Then you can pop in your watch hours here. I'm going to say 200. And then we'll hide the difference. The difference is to help work out the percentage, but we don't need to see it. So then you can pop in your number of views for the month. So let's say 3,000. And the date. This is just to help you stay organized. So let's say I'm doing this at the end of November so that I can find this when I've got lots of these input. My channel's been going for a while. So that's the kind of main stats that I input there that I can see at a glance. And then I can go into more granular detail down here. So this is part of my growth tracker template. And so I've got this laid out with most viewed video, most liked video, best watch time percentage, best click-through rate, most shared, and most subscribers. And you can change this. This is just a database within another database, if that makes sense. So you can remove things by clicking the 6 dots and clicking delete, and add things by clicking new. And then I've got a table along here where you can put the video name, a link to the video, a link to the thumbnail so that you can analyze which thumbnails are getting the most clicks, the number of views this month, the number of likes this month, percentage watch time this month, click-through rate this month, shares this month, and subscribers this month. You don't need to go into this much detail if you don't want to. It's there and you can slice and dice it as you like to keep on top of the stats that are most important to you. This is just to help you try and pull out the top performing videos for various metrics and try and see if there's any similarities between them. It might help you to decide on the kind of videos that you're making going forward. So if I close this now, because I've entered information, I can see at a glance that I can see the percentage growth, the date, the month and year, the percentage growth of my channel, the watch time hours and views. I wish it would give little tags so I can see without hovering on this what these are, but that's just Notion for you. If you want to change what's visible on this cover, you would do that by clicking these dots. Your properties here, it says for shown. So that's month and year, percentage growth, watch time and views. And then you can click on this little eye to hide things or to show things. So the things that are hidden, the properties that are hidden are down here, and the properties that are showing are up here. So you can go into that and play about with what you actually want on display. So you might want to edit this template to change out what metric you're tracking. So much like I showed you before, you go into this blue arrow at the top of the database where you have your templates. This is my default one, my monthly growth tracker. You click 3 dots at the side and click edit. And then you can change out anything in this template. So it might be, you don't need to edit a template to change the actual properties of the database. You can do that without editing a template. That stays the same everywhere. But if you wanted something entered, say, in one of the entries that shows up every time, then you would do that in the template. And then you can edit out this database down here for going into the kind of more granular information. You can add in different metrics that you want to track, and that will show up on each entry going forward. And then the very last thing, if I go into the growth tracker, I can click on this button or this button to get into the actual tracker page. And you'll see I have the backend table, which is basically the same thing, but in table format. So once you have several months and years set up in here, what you can do is you can filter and sort. So you might want to have a look what month has been particularly good for growth or watch time. So you can sort by watch time, and we want to go descending. So you've got the top ones first. It's not really going to show you much because I've only got one entry in here. So you can sort it by things like that. You can filter so that you're only, say if you have several years in, you could filter by 2023, see how 2023 is done, or you could filter by a month. Say you want to see if things have been similar every December. So you can slice and dice this just using filter and sort. So you can use the table to kind of slice and dice things and analyze your top level figures in a bit more detail. So I'll link to another video that you might find useful to watch next. And if you would like to get your hands on this template for your own YouTube channel, I will leave a link to it in the description.